Hi everyone, I am Ajinkya, your CISA guide. In the earlier video, I told you about IT automated controls, where the auditor can directly check the logic of the interest calculation within the system and simply place reliance and conclude that the financial statements are accurate. The auditor cannot directly check the automated controls. There are certain prerequisites which the auditor has to fulfill before they can rely on the IT automated controls. Now let me share my screen and we will come to those. No, the answer to previous question is definitive no. They cannot directly rely on the logic unless certain parameters or prerequisites are fulfilled. No? Before we get into what those parameters or prerequisites or controls are, consider this scenario of why can auditor not directly place reliance on IT automated controls or the logic built into the system. Let's take this scenario where a person goes into the system and changes the logic of interest calculation. Let's say that the 1 million people who kept deposits with the bank were promised an interest rate of 7%. When the auditor went into the system to check the logic, the interest calculation, to check the logic of the interest calculation, they saw that the interest rate is 7%. And hence they concluded that the interest amount shown in the profit and loss statement, which is 10 million rupees, is correct and free from any errors. However, there was one person who had malicious intent. They changed the interest rate before the day. The interest rate was kept as 5% in the profit and loss statement. And since the person wanted to save his skin, he changed the interest rate back to 7% on the day of the audit. That is why when the auditor arrived, he saw that the rate of interest was 7%, and hence he concluded that everything was accurate. Now this fraudulent possibility, there is a possibility of fraudulent intent, right? If there are no controls, anyone can go into the system and make changes, and when the auditor is supposed to check, they can simply go back and keep the accurate figures within the system. This is a possibility and we cannot deny it. How can the auditor even detect that there were so many changes? Now let's take another scenario where the interest calculation could go wrong. Let's say the interest calculation runs every quarter. Now when the interest calculation was supposed to run automatically, the internet went down and the interest was not actually calculated and hence not posted to the financial statements. This will again lead to incorrect interest calculation. Now, how will the auditor know that the interest was not calculated for one quarter? This will again, auditor cannot simply say that the interest was correct, because there can be a possibility of internet going down. Then there can be a possibility of someone changing the interest rates, someone having access they should not have. Now, to tackle this scenario, the auditor has to test general IT controls first. If general IT controls are strong and they are working throughout the year, then the auditor can simply say that the ITACs were also effective. As part of general IT controls review, the auditor will verify that the changes were made by following a change management process. I don't want to get into details of what change management process is, what segregation of duties is, and all that. That's a separate conversation, a big conversation. We call it as review of change management process, and that is a part of general IT controls. If this change management process is effective and operating throughout the year, the auditor can easily eliminate the possibility of interest change from 5% to 7% because it will be caught in the review of change management process. Now, second risk, to eliminate the risk of missing interest in one quarter that we saw above, the auditor will review batch job management process as part of general IT controls review. If batch job management process is effective and operating effectively throughout the year, the auditor can eliminate the possibility of missing interest for any one quarter. Hence, before placing reliance on IT automated controls, the auditor has to test the design and operating effectiveness of general IT controls. If general IT controls are effective, then and only then the auditor can place reliance on IT automated controls. So, to put it all in a nutshell, GITCs are the foundation. That is uh, change management, access management, batch job monitoring, and all of that. If these are strong, the auditor can trust the IT automated controls. That is the system logic. And when the auditor can trust the logic, he can prove that the financial statements are accurate without ever needing to manually calculate a million rows of data. You know, that is the power of bridging IT security with financial integrity. If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to hit a like button, subscribe to my channel, and share this with anyone prepping for the CISA exam or stepping into IT audit. Let me know in the comments section if this made the concept click for you. I am Ajinkya, your CISA guide. See you in the next video.